Today we're going to make a card and some envelopes using this peekaboo set from Avery Elle. I'm also going to be using My Favorite Things Carpool Die-Namics set, which was just released, to make the Halloween card. Next we'll go over what each piece is. So there is the van part. Next, this die piece is for the bumper. Let's see, we're going to use the steering wheel. This gets tucked in behind the front of the windshield. You have the tires, and each tire gets tucked underneath the car, and you would actually put the tires on first because you can see exactly where they are to be aligned. We're just kind of plotting this out first so we know where everything goes. These are the side view mirrors, so we need to tuck in each of the side view mirrors into the sides of the car. Next, we will get the headlights and cut those out, and we will put the headlights on the front of the card, and you can see where the headlights will go for the die. There's an impression there. Next, we are going to get the license plate tag. You can use it as a license plate tag or just put a grill on the front if you'd like. Next, that's the actual grill that we're going to put on top of the card, and the largest part's going to be at the top, and the next is the accent piece inside. And the little die here is to cut the small circles that will go inside as the headlights, but we won't be using that in the card today. I have a new trick to show. We're going to use a 4" by 5 1/4 card base and determine where we're going to put the car on the card base. And then we're going to mark a small pencil mark where we want our image to be. And we're going to choose Dracula out of the peekaboo set. And we're going to put him down, and this can always be erased if necessary. And we'll put him in our MISTI, and we are going to stamp him with Memento Tuxedo ink. Now here's a tip: always put your magnet on because your cardstock needs to be held down. But the great thing about the MISTI is we can line it back up. So we're going to line that back up and put the magnet at the top. And then we will ink up the Dracula good. We will take our MISTI over and stamp him down, and we're going to find out that the magnet got in the way again, and we need to move the magnet down to the bottom. But I always like to stamp my image twice, so we'll move that over, and we will get a nice clear, crisp image of Dracula. Next, we'll want to just put our car down just to make sure that we have him lined up the way we want to. And I just realized we're going to need to stamp his image again using a stamping mask paper so that we can do our distress coloring. So since he's lined up in there, I've just lined him in there, and I'll just stamp on this scrap piece that I have of this masking paper. I love to keep my scraps and reuse them. And he didn't come out as crisp and clear because that magnet again was in the way. You would think I've learned by now. And so we'll stamp him one more time. And now we can fussy cut him out with our scissors to go over top. And so he's fussy cut out. So we have put him down onto the card, and now we have gotten Distress Oxide Lemonade stamp. I just want to see where this distressed ink should go, and I am now just using a small brush to put this distressed ink to kind of give him an evil glow for Halloween. So I will continue to fill this in till I get the color that I'm really looking for the image. And so I just think this is a fun way to give it a background and just make him look a little more evil. And so we'll put the card down and see if we like that. And I realize I want just a little bit more of the yellow peeking out from the bottom, so I'll continue to layer that on. This is the great thing about making your own backgrounds. You make them a reflection of you. We will remove the mask from Dracula, and we will save the mask when it comes off and put it onto our stamp set, and we can use it again to make another card. We're going to color Dracula as well as put the card together, so I'm just going to speed that along as we go. I've gotten out my favorite glue, which I'll link in the description below. I've sped up putting the card together because I explained it in the beginning of the video, but I have a couple of tips that I'm going to tell you about as we go along. First is I stamped his hands and I fussy cut those out. I'm just going to go in with my markers and color them, and the black is just to cover around the sides of the white paper where he was fussy cut. I really love this My Favorite Things card Die-Namics set, and I plan on continuing to use this Carpool die set. You can put a piece of plain paper down for the license plate tag, but let's take it up a notch and get out our MISTI. I get out a piece of white scrap paper. This is a great way to use your scraps. We will be using the saying, "Be wicked." However, we only want the word wicked. Instead of cutting the stamp apart, I have a trick for you. You will take a post-it note and cover up the word "be" in the "be wicked" sentiment so that you just get the word wicked. Then you will ink up the wicked with your ink and stamp it down in the MISTI, but make sure to remove the post-it note or it will smear. Next, you will take your license plate and put it over the word wicked. I will be getting out post-it note tape to adhere over top of the die cut so that when I put it through my Gemini to cut out the die, it will stay in place, and we will get a license plate that has the word wicked. Another tip that I have for you is, instead of using the white paper to put down for your headlights, use your dewdrops. And when you put your dewdrops on there, they look exactly like headlights. And I just think this takes up the card another notch, and it just adds a little dimension to your card. So we'll adhere that down. One of the things I noticed is I didn't really like the white around the outside of the card, so I'm going to get out my distressed ink and get out the Spice Marmalade color, and I'm going to add that around my image because I think this is really going to bring it more to life, and it will also pull in the orange of the car. So I will just distress that around, and then we will put this on our card base and stamp our sentiment, and we will be done with the front of this card. I really love the glow of the Spice Marmalade because I think it sets the glow off around the car more than the white did. But in the comments below, let me know what you think. And also, if you like these videos, I ask that you please subscribe. I'm going to have some more Halloween card videos as well as other ways to use the Carpool Die-Namics set that we are using today. So stay tuned for those videos that will be coming out soon. Today we're going to work with the Avery Elle Spooktacular stamp set, and I think this is just going to be so cute. It's going to be a fun way to dress up our envelopes. And I'm going to start with Dracula. I have an envelope for an A2 card inside my MISTI, and I'm going to use I'm going to position this, and I'm not worried about the return address because I'll be putting that onto the back of the envelope. So I want to move my magnet out of the way so I get a good stamp. Use my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I will stamp him 2 times so I have a nice crisp clear image. One of the great things about dressing up the outside of the envelope, people are just going to love this. It's just going to bring a little bit of cheer other than just a plain envelope. We will take the envelope out of the MISTI, and we're going to use the MISTI later. But let's get out our T ruler because I am going to draw a box to put the address for the recipient in. And it's going to look like he's holding the box. And it's almost kind of like he's holding a sign. And we'll go across the envelope, and I will take this and also draw the box down the side first before I do it across the bottom. So you just take your pencil and use your pencil at first, and we'll just draw a box. I think that the recipients are just going to love this. Again, it takes your envelope up a notch. They know you really love and care about them when they receive it, and it'll be a fun place for them to store your card after they've had it on display. So I'm not worried that I've gone over that. I'm going to use my eraser to erase that. And now I'm going to put him back into the MISTI because I want to stamp his hands. So in this set, it's really neat. They have little hands, and you can place them wherever you want. And so I wanted to make sure it looked like that he was holding this sign. So I'm going to place these down. They're a little tricky to get placed down. They seem to want to stick to my fingers, but I will get his hands down here on this sign, and it will look like he's holding this address sign. We will again ink this up in the Memento black ink, because again I'm going to color this with Copic markers, and I will do this 2 times to get a nice clear image. And then you will see that part of the pencil line has gone through his hand, but that's alright. I will take this out of the MISTI after I clean it off with my sham, remove those little stamps, put them back, and now we will erase the little part that's gone through his one hand. And so now that's all nice and clear. Now I want to go back, and I'm going to take a fine tip pen here. I will link to these pens below, and I'm going to line this up and take my time to draw the box. And if you, because I really want it to show up, and I want to go in between his hands and just really make it show up. So you'll see I just really take my time. This will make the sign stand out, and we can just erase away any of the pencil mark that we don't cover up. You could do this with a lot of different characters if you wanted to. I'm going to have a second example for you that I have used and changed it up, but this just really is going to make this envelope pop. And so we'll just continue to draw our lines across and down. And I love this T ruler because it really helps me keep the ruler in place. So I've gotten my box drawn. It really pops out. I see a little bit of pencil mark, and I'll erase that away with my eraser. So now this is looking good. I'll be able to put my address for the recipient inside that box. But now I want to color him up, and a tip that I'm going to give you is if you're using Copics, they can bleed through your envelope. So I always put a piece of paper in there so they catch the ink that's necessary. And now I will take out the colors that I'm going to use and put those to the side, and I'll also link all these items down in the description. And if you like what I'm doing, I just ask that you please subscribe to my channel. So let's sit back and you can see me color Dracula. Okay, I finished Dracula up. The next I'm going to show you the other envelope I created the same way using the same set. I've already colored the witch, and now I just want to add a glow around her. I think it's kind of fun because it's going to set her off having that glow, and you'll see that I added around the sign later. What I'm going to do so that I don't get the Distress Oxide cracked pistachio is use the stamping masking tape to put over her, as well as the sign where I'm going to put the recipient's address. Now I could have cut the masking tape to match that sign just perfectly, but I decided I wanted that glow. So I'm going to start with this Distress Oxide. I will tell you, out of all the Distress inks, I love the Oxides the best because they really just take on a nice dark deep color. You'll see in the corner that I don't put any Distress Oxide down. I know my stamp's gonna go there, so there's no need to waste ink in that corner. It's gonna be covered up. It will cover up some of the ink I've already put there. And I just rotate this around and just lay down my distressed ink. Another great thing with the Distress Oxide is I find it's easier to blend. So I'll just clean this up, peel away my masking tape that I have, and I can put that to the side to make another envelope. And now I can color around with the same Copic marker to give that glow effect onto this envelope. And I will also set this envelope just to the side after I finish so it can dry, and then I'll be able to put my card in it, and this will be just such a fun way and a way to make her pop and the address pop on the envelope. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll stay tuned for further videos. Have a happy Halloween!